Great pleasure right now to welcome to our show today a man who has written a book that he hopes will be very helpful. I think it will be. I had a chance to read through it. It's called Coach Yourself to Win, 7 Steps to Breakthrough Performance on the Job and in Your Life. We're joined today by Howard Guttman from up in New Jersey today. And Howard, I know the weather as we tape this is getting a little hairy up there, but thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Had a chance to read through the book. First of all, I got to ask you, how does one become you're part of your job is to be like a life coach or a business coach. How do you get into that field?
I came in as a corporate sector, so I was in charge of human resources for the consumer sector of J&J in the 80s. So I come out of the corporate world.
And you've seen a lot of different behaviors, I'm sure. People make mistakes, so that helps you in this, doesn't it, writing this book?
Well, absolutely. See, I mean, in the end, we do a lot of executive coaching for different corporations. So we deal with a lot of the senior executives. This book was really a way to take the lessons of executive coaching, apply to senior executives, and how can an individual apply it to their own life. That's really the purpose of the book.
Yeah. We're seeing so many people now going through job changes, some not voluntarily, unfortunately. So I think the tips you give in your book here are going to help people with that, taking some of those, tips and things that you learn in executive coaching. I mean, that helps people looking for work, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, these are not easy times. I mean, this is about as tough as it gets. I probably know more executives out of work than I've ever had. Very good people who performed fine, but the company went south, or there was a regime change, whatever it is. But I mean, we're living in difficult times. So if there was ever a time when people really have to become adept at coaching themselves and focusing themselves on behaviors that are going to win for them, this is the time. It's not an easy time to coach anymore.
So what is the biggest thing you could tell somebody? Obviously, you talk about maybe somebody was a leader of a company and for some reason they're out of work. I mean, not only is it a financial blow, but it's an ego blow for those folks. I mean, that's tough to overcome, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually the toughest part, is that it's the psychological of someone not looking at themselves as a failure, but recognizing that there they are right now. I'm somebody who believes that people should take personal accountability for their life. And in a time like this, a lot of people are unfortunately victims of circumstances beyond their control. If an industry goes south or a company goes away, the reality is for a lot of people they have to reinvent themselves. And that's not an easy thing to do when you're 40, 50, 60 years old.
But the good news is, the upside is, I mean, you can overcome that and get back in the game, but you may have to change I think one of the things you say in your book, have realistic intentions, right?
Yes, you have to do. Yeah, that's exactly right. And what you really do have to do is make sure your mind is right, meaning that the stories that you tell yourself are going to empower you versus have you feel helpless. So that's what really is the nature of the book, is for people to think about what's their intention, whether it be to lose weight, stop smoking, get a job, or go to the next level. What's their intention, and how do you behaviorally, on a very pragmatic way, come up with a game plan that's going to increase the likelihood for you to be able to do that. And again, the steps we outline in the book are exactly what we use with a senior executive success in the corporate world.
You also talk in the book, find what has been holding people back. I think people, and we all do this, do things that make things worse on ourselves, don't we?
Yeah, the question here, ultimately, the first question we ask people is, are they coachable? Are they really willing to get out of a comfortable norm and put that aside because their quest for a higher level of performance or functioning is the overriding issue? So the first question people have to ask themselves is, are they coachable? Are they willing to go there? That's a very key question everyone has to ask themselves, and what we factor when we qualify whether or not we've got a client out there.
I know you talk in the book, you have a chapter where you give, I think, a test in there to determine if somebody is able to self-coach themselves, right?
That's exactly right. We ask people to consider what's their willingness level to become sometimes a bit uncomfortable trying out new behaviors. And the other issue, which is another critical issue in self-coaching, is you have to be willing to hear feedback. Because part of what we suggest people do is have a circle of support. Enroll about 3 or 4 people around you who can help you in terms of providing you with feedback and keeping you on track. So in order to be a candidate for self-coaching, people have to be willing to look at feedback as a gift and not a threat.
Are you optimistic, Howard? I mean, it is a difficult time for a lot of people, but we've been through tougher times before. Maybe not quite at this level, I guess, since the Depression, you could say. But in other ways, technology's out there. People are, developing products. I mean, the opportunities are there, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, look, people, we don't have everything to get through it. But the question is, getting through it powerfully, or feeling like and you can. You're stronger than your circumstances, or you allow the circumstances to run you. That's really the choice that every person needs to make. So it's a question of how do you go through it. Because you could choose to, based on whatever conversation you tell yourself, one could look at today's world and say, it's a very exciting opportunity. It's a very good time to reinvent myself, to think about other options I have. So some people get motivated by a time like this. It doesn't necessarily have to be down.
And with internet technology, a lot of people are able to work pretty much where they want, or on their own as self-employed. I mean, that's an option that you may not have had 10 years ago.
That's exactly right. Yeah. You're absolutely right. So this is a time when, it's like my mother always used to say, one door closes, another one opens up. And this is a time for people to really look at what new vistas they can create. Because when you're in conflict, you need to be disruptive in terms of beginning to look at yourself and see whether or not the behaviors you're exhibiting are congruent with the goal you profess to want. That's a crucial thing for people to do, to really sit back and objectively look for whether or not what they're doing is increasing the likelihood for them to win. Everyone has to assess themselves.
Well, it's good to have a positive book out there, Howard. If you watch the news, you get down, so it's good to have some positive news. And thank you for writing it.
Thank you. Look, if somebody wants to get it, they can go to Amazon, or they can go to our website, which is coachyourselftowin.com.
Great, and people can ask you a question there, get the book as well. And we've been talking with Howard Guttman. And Howard, go get your house all ready. I hope everything will be okay up there. I'm sure it will. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you.